Welcome, everybody. Welcome. It is a wonderful Monday night. John is bouncing around, so you know that's a good sign. I mean, feels like forever and a day. He hasn't worked. He hasn't worked like
No,
with us.
he's
So
been
so
sitting.
he's had off. He's had off. So Cubbie and I are going to be the tired ones tonight.
Yes.
John's going to
Man,
carry the entire show, and if
speaking
you don't
And
legs.
like it,
pulling out
tough.
sock puppets. Sock puppets.
Sock puppets.
Sock puppets. Wouldn't that be great? I mean, just think about it. How much more effective would it be if you would incorporate a sock puppet into every sales presentation that you did? I mean, who can say no to a sock puppet? Unless it's dirty
Nope.
and kind of, got that stain that no one knows where it came from. But if it doesn't have the stain, who could say no to a sock puppet? I I think my work
I think you might be
my work here is done.
your marketing might be attracting the wrong couples.
What? No?
Yes.
You're sure? Are you sure?
No,
Foot
no, I'm not
fetishes
I'm
could be
not
a
sure, but
high-paying
I'm
thing. I mean, let's face it.
pretty positive.
Foot fetish, weddings, DJ could put it all together. It's a very, very specific niche. Very specific.
All I can say is you Minnesotians.
It gets cold here, man. It gets cold. You gotta entertain yourself better.
Too smelly for me.
Yeah. So tonight we're going to talk about insurance. A lot of you have a variation of your insurance out there, and we're going to talk a little bit about why, if you, and where you're getting it, and all those little and what some of the aspects are of the insurance policies that we're getting, and talking about some of the things maybe where you are overpaying on your insurance because you're buying things that you really, 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 really don't need. Kind of like buying black socks. Nobody likes black socks. You need white socks because then you can see the googly eyes on top when you're playing the sock puppets. Sock puppet.
I prefer to have a very diverse sock puppet show.
That would be fun. That would be fun.
So we even throw in some red and some orange with the white. And then there's the pink one because the red
I got the
and the
blue
white
ones.
one
The blue
got a
ones
little too
down
close.
here, and you can see I actually have pants on tonight too. Ooh. Man,
It's a good night for
it's
you.
a good night, man. I'm sporting pants and a sock, but not two. Anyway, so tonight we're going to talk a little bit about insurance. Now, if you look down into the description of this video, there's a lot of links and such, and the links down there are our sponsors for the shows, whether it's from different ones within the DJ industry with DJ Event Planner and Electric Voice, and you can see the list down below. Then you get down to the ones below that where there's our affiliate links, which if you're looking for some of those products or using those websites and you click on that, that's help supports DJNTV. The next insurance company, and we're going to be focusing on them tonight because they have got a really nice portal for going and applying for DJ insurance. They have gone from the bottom of the list, there we go, the bottom list of affiliate. They actually have come on and are a sponsor of DJNTV here for a short period of time. And we thought that since some of us use that, it would be a good opportunity for you guys to check it out. And just, if nothing else, go check out and compare it to what you have right now. As I was talking, Cubbie came up with this idea last week, Dan, to do the show tonight on this. So I spent 4 or 5 minutes talking to some of the DJs in a conversation, and off and on, and asking them about where they're getting their insurance from. And it's interesting. At one time, you could only get insurance from like the major through the major associations. It's like that's the only place you could get it. As I was talking around, I was hearing. I'm getting it from my local agent, or I'm getting this from someone here or somewhere there, or they're finding things online. And a couple of people that I talked to, that I was text messaging back and forth with, said, "Hey, we've got the next thing, next insurance, because it does everything we need. We can print out a certificate right away, and they're helping with the Disc Jockey News, and they're like, we heard it from you guys, so we bought it, and it's like, oh, cool." So when you do your guys, when you first started buying insurance for your company, where did you guys go out and buy it for the first time to be able to have that liability insurance for your company?
Who
Go
do you
for it,
want to
Cubbie.
start? Thanks. I got mine through associations. And I get my coverage and my insurance to cover my gear in case something happens through my homeowners, but I carry my $2 million liability, and I started with an association.
And I was the same way. I had ADJA and the one that they were backed for the longest time. And I just kind of continued to go down that path. I reached out to my local agent at one point because I was hearing kind of similar to you guys, where it was like, oh, you can do that. Um, and when I did, I got a quote, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like I was really saving anything. And for someone who really didn't need it, other than to have it in that just in case, the local wasn't helping me any from that standpoint.
And that was the local was one of the problems I had when I was looking for insurance initially, because I had a college that requested their name to be listed, and you couldn't, the local one, my local person couldn't have done that quickly. Oh yeah, well, we can get you that certificate in about 2 weeks. No, they said that the show's tomorrow, and I need it today. It is Friday. Ah, that kind of a thing, and that became a real problem. And that, so the ADJ was where I also got mine to begin with, and that went for a number of years. But as time went on and such, it got to the point where the things we were paying more for it, and I just wasn't overly excited about what I was getting for that. So we started looking around, and this is 3 years ago, I think, was when Next started coming onto the scene. They had obviously been in the insurance game for a while, but that's when I found them in the DJ world. And it's like, I like this because everything is, and in Insurance in Minutes, which is the RV Nuzio?
Nuccio.
Yeah. They have the ability to do much of what we're going to talk about tonight. They have the ability to go buy it online, and I think you can pay it by the month now there too. Also, many of them are doing it by the month, because they would prefer you to pay monthly, because then it's a little bit more than paying by the year, and it becomes this monthly cash flow, which is residual gigs. Yeah, Eric, no, this is no Memorex. No Memorex tonight. Tomorrow night it will be, though, because if we play it back again, or I could come back tomorrow night and we could do it with sock puppets, and it'd be like spectacular.
I like it.
Spectacular. I mean,
Turn off all the lights, put just a couple lights on just the puppets, and that's all we need.
Hello, I need insurance. Why, yes, sir, I can help you. Yeah, I'm thinking this could be good. This could be good. Let's kind of go through a little bit. With my policy, I decided I wanted to go. I don't do anything with the gear. Cubbie, you mentioned you've got something with gear when it's being run kind of through the other. I decided against that. I looked at that, and it's like, if something happens, I have got backups of everything. So let's say if heaven forbid my truck gets in an accident and I lose a whole show, I have another one back at the office. I mean, it sucks, but it's like I could go and pay the insurance and have that and such, but there's going to be deductibles and different things. And it's like, I didn't want it. I figured that part of it, it's like, I'm going to self-insure that. But the reliability, and I decided to go with the $2 million liability policy, just because you'll see when we go through the application and such, it just made more sense. Now, if you're someone who is renting an apartment and you have minimal assets, maybe you could get away with the $1 million policy instead of the $2 million policy. Because let's face it, if you get sued, you don't have a ton of stuff for someone to sue. So they're probably not going to be able to. You're not having to protect as much as someone who's got a really nice house, or a house and family, whatever. So no equipment, and I went that route. I've run into some DJs.
Just interrupt him, Cubbie, because he's not looking at you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
A lot of venues are asking for $2 million liabilities and not $1 million. So be very cognizant of that. You may have to pick up additional insurance for a particular event if that venue asks for $2 million. But a lot of venues, when they ask for a certificate of insurance and name them as a holder, they're looking for a $2 million liability.
That's interesting. Yeah. And I've not had a specific, I've had people asking for the liability, the rider or the document, but I've not had anyone ask for a specific amount. So that's good to know.
Yes, sir. Sorry to interrupt.
That's good. That's good. I wasn't looking at you. I was looking at the camera, and then I was looking. There's a basketball game going on, so I was looking at that. And then there's a baseball game down over here. I was looking at that. And then I think somebody was playing football over here. I don't know.
All right, Cubbie.
Yeah.
Shut up. My TV is not on tonight.
Oh, that's because we're between seasons. But anyway, I think let's kind of jump into it. I think that's for the people who've never really gotten into the insurance and such. This just kind of looking at it. So Dan, if you want to kind of load that up. While Dan's doing that, Cubbie, if somebody says, "Hey, why would you buy insurance?" Why? Give me a couple of reasons why you feel it's important to to have that insurance for your business.
If something was to happen, like somebody tripped over a speaker pole, or the stand fell over, or they slipped on the dance floor, people generally sue all the way up. I mean, they're going to sue the venue, they're going to sue you, whoever was involved, that could potentially have a liability. And so you want to protect yourself and your family, by having it. And then, like I said, there's also business things you need to do, like an LLC, so you're protected or whatever. But that's a whole nother show. But the $2 million liability, especially if you're on your own and you haven't built up an LLC and stuff, that you want to have insurance to protect you and your family for lifetime to come.
Well said. He did really well there, Dan.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Wow, we could just like kind of end the show right there. Say, do it.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn the hockey game.
Yeah, there's basketball on somewhere. So what you're looking at, everyone, right there is Dan's got this is actually the next. If you type in DJNTV.com/next, NEXT insurance, that will take you to this page. And this is the spot where basically you start putting together what they say in the upper right-hand corner is a get instant quote. Yeah. So we're going to kind of go through and put together kind of some fictitious information. So in our world, we are other industries. We are not construction, although we're constructing a rock and dance floor. We are,
of course,
we are, we're serving up the hits, and not food and beverage. And we're let's see, retail, e-commerce. We would be selling them on the most fun they've ever had. No, maybe not. Or we're cleaning up with all of the. No, not probably. That's okay. Anyway, so you click on the other, and you go in here and you just type in DJ, and it pops right up for us.
Right there.
See how quick and easy it is? Now, this was something 10 years ago. If you would have gone to an instant quote thing for your regular business, and you'd have typed in DJ, and it would have come back and said, say what? Dij? What's a dij? No, it's a DJ. How about disc jockey? Oh, you play on the radio. This is the conversation you'd have had with the instant quote systems back then. Okay. So here we get into the talk, telling about the business and such, and they're asking about specifically different parts that could change the quote. Now, for some of you who have employees, this is going to be something that they're going to be able to make some recommendations. If they can't service your area with workman's comp type insurances, they're going to be able to give you some recommendations for that. For those of you who are like, oh, all of my DJs that work with me every weekend are all subcontractors, you're wrong. And if you ever get audited, you will be wrong, and you will end up having to pay for it. Doesn't mean you can't do it. You can drive 100 miles an hour and 55 until the time you get pulled over and they beat you with a stick. But if you're if all your DJs that only DJ for you and they're out pretty much every weekend are subcontractors, you're wrong. So in our case, for our fictitious company, we're going to pretend this is a mom and pop shop, and they don't have any employees. It's just the husband and wife. Has no employees. You don't need to check that one, Dan.
No,
and then tools to operate equipment. This one is basically that if you would be a DJ who's just kind of stepping into an arena and not actually having your own gear, that's where that one would come in. So we definitely need to check, Dan, because we are going to have gear that are, if you have a location, we have this building that I do the videos in is considered a commercial property, and with our different insurance with the newspaper, we have to have that business insurance, because if somebody comes here to drop off an ad or something, like anybody's ever going to do that, but we have to have the liability for a slip and a fall. In case my dog bites somebody because they come here. Obviously, for most DJs, they don't have that. And then, of course, there's the vehicle for business purposes, which many personal insurances do not cover if you're using it for your business. So that's another area that could be an additional. For our quote, it won't matter. You can tick that box too, also, Dan. But I don't think for our basic quote, it's not going to matter. But that would let them know that, hey, maybe we should reach out to them and talk to them about business vehicle insurance also. Okay, so let's keep going on this. So the important one that we're looking for is the general liability, and basically this is what Cubbie just said, without the pretty blue check marks.
Yeah, and completion time in 2 minutes is awesome.
Yeah. So that this is again the most important part of when we're going to get requests for insurance is they're asking for liability. So Dan, if you want to just throw something in there just for something to do.
I hate all those save things.
Hey, that's why did you put my phone number up there?
Because I wanted to.
Oh, okay.
I wanted to. It's like I'm not putting mine.
Well, okay. I guess I'll just get more text messages from my friends over in China that want to give me $1 million because they're they're whatever. That one you're gonna have to put like an address down the street or something.
1122
I gotta actually
Boogie
put a
Woogie Avenue.
legitimate one.
Yeah, you have to somewhat because it's based on location a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I think of one that actually exists though. That's the problem.
Yeah. We could do. Yeah, if you got the school address or something, it would be good enough. Yeah, that'll.
No, that's what it was.
There we go. There we go. Yes, and call it good. Yeah. So obviously, if you're doing this for yourself, you would fill in your information, and that's going to allow them to be able to A, customize a quote for your location in the country, and B, give them the ability to market and reach out to you. So in this case, let's go with a sole proprietor for the first roll through because that's the most common, and let's move it. Let's make it about a 10-year-old business. And we don't rent a location, so that's a no. And outside of Pennsylvania, no, there's no additional staff or employees or workers. One owner and no employees. Expected number of sets. Let's say this is a wedding DJ who's going to be looking at about, let's say 25 shows for the next year, roughly 25 shows a year. I think that would be for a single up, part-time single up. That'd be respectable. So now this is where it kind of gets interesting for those of you who are like, well, what does it all cover and what doesn't it cover? Well, you're gonna start to get a taste of that. If you're playing in an abandoned warehouse, you're not covered. What the heck is a squat party?
Number 4 catches me up every single time.
The exotic dancers or adult entertainers. Yeah, that would slow your show down a little bit. You're gonna have to kind of tone it down a bit.
Yes,
no, you just select yes, right? That you select yes to.
I have to for number 4. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But the events after 2 a.m. I would have never thought that the time would have been one of the indicators. And granted,
I wonder if it's also different in other states. So, for example,
it was the same in Minnesota.
Well, in PA, that's our bar closing time.
That's on ice too.
And like that's the how they have to be done serving alcohol. Everybody's got to be out 2:00. But I know when I lived in Tennessee, I think it was Tennessee, it was 3:00. So that's why I wonder if there is a different time in other states because of that.
Yeah, maybe in states that would allow a longer alcohol time, but yeah, it also popped up as a 2 a.m. end when I went through and just checked everything here earlier today. So obviously, we're not going to do any of those, so we'll say no on that one. And has your commercial insurance been canceled, revoked? No. Have you been convicted of a felony in the past 5 years? Declared bankruptcy? None of that. So we're going to continue on because that top one is the one that's the kind of interesting as they start to spell out some of the things that are beyond.
Convicted? No, never convicted.
Yeah, exactly. Never convicted. They haven't been. Business claim in the past 3 years? No. Obviously, for those of you who are like, well, what happens if I did have a claim? And yeah, because this is where if you check yes and you had a claim, either they won't even offer you insurance or it's going to be incredibly high. If you've had a claim, that's what stinks about insurance is that whether it's car insurance or homeowners insurance or business insurance, which we had this situation where we had a claim that popped up, and not only could we not go to a different place because of that, they canceled our insurance. And it was like, wow, that's great, thank you. We'll have to talk about that it was a different industry, by the way. So the different activities that'll be excluded from your policy. Now, the one that right kind of in the middle there, the pyrotechnics, fire handling, and flash box. Yeah, they might as well be saying that
Cold spark.
cold spark stuff is not going to be covered. So if you burn down someone's venue, you're not going to be covered. There was another one of throwing things out. Where was that one? Was that up higher? No, that would be.
Maybe they don't do that in
None of the,
Pennsylvania, but just in Minnesota.
yeah, maybe, but there was one that talked about, and maybe it's yet to come.
Oh, here it is. No, that are thrown, launched, or otherwise propelled. It's down there by the mosh pits.
Oh, there we go. Injuries, yeah. So I was looking at that, and it's like, those when we throw out the little batons, or we throw out the little party favors. If somebody got poked in the eye from it, I think that clause would cancel the coverage for it, or as far as that it wouldn't be covered because it was thrown out.
So you need to hand them.
I'm
to
wondering if
people.
that literally would be the way, is that if you hand things out, that's covered because it wasn't thrown.
I
And
never chuck them anyway.
yeah. What I like to do is I like to go, kind of go grab somebody, grab the back of their pants a little bit, and instead of doing a wedgie, you just stick that thing right down the back of the pants, and it's really fun and personable.
I bet they enjoy that.
Yeah,
John's
I
in
get
rare form tonight.
I get tips.
Yes, he drink this morning or
I
what?
get tips from that. That's just great. It's just great. So, and now I'm really happy because not only it's covered in case somebody might find offense on, not like they would, but if they would, it's covered. Okay.
Sure, because you didn't throw it.
Yeah, exactly. We're perfect. So understand, and when we want the coverage to start, we could go today is fantabulous. Okay, so here's an interesting the umbrella side of things. I don't know if you guys ever dealt with umbrella stuff too terribly much.
No, not related to this stuff.
So yeah, so the umbrella idea is basically that you have more liability that can cover a variety of different things, and it's kind of grouped together for this particular situation. And you can hover over that little question mark there, and it'll pop up a little window that says. So we don't. I didn't buy that with this particular one, but with our homeowners and those areas, yes, we have a an umbrella policy over top of everything there. So I would click no on that particular one.
It's thinking.
It is.
I think we hit that 2-minute mark. This might be it.
Heavy insurance.
Yep, I was right.
So there's the two options, and those are the two options that I had also gotten. And I'm sure that's what every DJ who goes through and fills out the form is going to get for different options. Is the 1 million and the 2 million. Click on either one of them, Dan, doesn't matter, but the view package details. And then, open those up a little bit because they've got a little bit of information about, like, there we go. What's covered was the part I thought was kind of interesting, is that in talking about the medical payments, that if we have someone that trips, and this is kind of like what Cubbie was referring to, if somebody slips, if there's a bar on the edge of our dance floor and somebody slips because there was some idiot who took a drink from the bar, spilled it on the dance floor, someone else slips and falls, well, who are they going to sue? Well, they're going to sue the venue. Then they're going to sue the bartender. Then they're going to sue the catering staff who didn't get out there with a mop before they slipped, even though it was 6.2 seconds between the time the drink spilled and the time the person slipped. And then, of course, the DJ should have immediately stopped everything and done something, whatever that something is. So everyone's going to be named in the lawsuit.
And the beauty about that is when you have this type of insurance, you don't have to deal with it. You just turn them right over to next insurance, and they handle everything for you.
Exactly. So looking that's going to cover your top two biggest one. Now the third one, I think this one is one I've actually got more concern about because we got spanked with, and this is where with our other newspaper that we have, we actually had a claim from, it was a bogus kind of a bogus company that found one of our graphics that were used that had been in our marketing. We spend so much dollars each month buying access to artwork. Well, 20 years ago, that artwork was in that subscription company. Then about 10 years ago, that artwork lost its licensing within our subscription company, and this company from Florida bought the rights to a picture of sausage and eggs. Okay, that's the picture. Plate, sausage, eggs. Well, they have the rights to it. What they ended up doing is they found it on in our newspaper from one ad, a $7 ad, and they sued us for, I think they were trying to get like $50,000 or $100,000 out of us. Well, our insurance covered that through the newspaper insurance, but after the policy, after that, they decided they were going to cancel our policy. So that meant that any other local policy that we had was going to be, well, did you have a policy cancel? Yeah, we kind of did. It became a problem for us. Now, why I think this is important is because we all have pictures, and sometimes we're using photographers' pictures with their permission. But what happens if that? Oh, let's say you've got this company, a photography company, and in 10 years, 5 years, it's sold to a different person, and let's say that next person who bought it is not going to honor that and decides to sue you because, well, that's our watermarks, and I bought those watermarks, and I paid $1 million for this photography company, and every picture is mine. You can't use it anymore, and we're going to sue you. Could happen. Kind of what happened to us. This would cover that. And basically, they would take care of it. They would be defending you and going and telling the other person to shut up. Here's some money, go away. Is what usually happens because most of the time, these are shakedowns for money. So I find that one of all of them to be probably the most applicable right now in this world that we live in. And then, of course, there's the what's not covered. There's our list again. Does Cubbie's, see, look at that. No, that doesn't say that. It's, Cubbie's table dancing.
Yeah, so one thing to do is like if you're doing school dances and you got kids on their shoulders, or you see any guest, you're jumping on the shoulders at a wedding or whatever, you got to be very careful with it because that could be considered crowd surfing.
Mm-hmm.
And we all love to see it. We all love to see them dancing on the tables, but let somebody fall off that table one time. And that's, yeah.
Yeah, and then you're in the deep weeds really, really, really quick. Inflatable devices, I thought that was kind of interesting, but how many of us as mobile wedding DJs really have inflatable devices? I mean, I've seen a couple of people that have a photo booth that has the inflatable thing, but I think they're talking bouncy houses.
And yeah, but there's a lot of the people on the East Coast that do bar mitzvahs, and they're like full production companies, and not just the East Coast, but it's like Chicago and areas like that.
Right.
They have to have a whole different liability insurance for that type of stuff. And this would not work for them if you do bar mitzvah, bat mitzvahs, and you kind of rent inflatables out for them.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, Michael Kennedy. Thank you for being with us, Michael. Throughout the at a Jewish wedding, or if they're doing the hora, or bar mitzvah where they got the kids up up on a chair and doing it. That would be interesting if that would be considered crowd surfing. And
Yeah.
if they would deny that, would they end up getting themselves in more trouble because they would be saying that, oh, this religious activity that is done by all these, and then would they open up a bigger can of worms by denying that claim? That's hard to say. Interesting thought. So yeah, that's kind of a neat little list to give you an idea. Scroll down on the limits one now, if you would, please, Dan. So there should be a little bit more down below us there. There we go. So general liability per incident is of course, you've got your $1 million per incident. In this particular one, for the per year is only $1 million. So if for something horrible happened and you were sued for that, if you have the $2 million policy, it's still $1 million per incident. But there are potential possibilities where you could have multiple incidents in one night if something really, really went south. So that's where the $2 million policy would come in, especially if you were sued by two different entities. Yeah, there you go. Now we kind of go through. There's more things that it talks about, and some of these insurances are things pieces are things you can buy additional coverage. The errors and omission is probably the only other one I think as a potential, as someone who writes contracts in the service industry that might have interest. And a person would have to then reach out to Next or any insurance company and find out more about it. But the errors and omission basically is that if Cubbie says that he is going to be able to do X, Y, Z at his weddings, and due to negligence or due to some situation, he could not do X, Y, and Z, and he could only do Y and Z, there is a potential for a lawsuit in that situation. The errors and omission basically covers things like that for the times that we overpromise and underdeliver, and could be set up for a liability situation. That's what that would cover, more so than any of the other liability things. The other liabilities are basically for accidents or things that we are involved with or cause or whatever. But the error and omission basically is for the times where we did not live up to our contract, and that's an additional charge for over the $20 or $17 a month. So, okay, now let's pop back to that page there with the $20 a month. Did they give us an option if you click on that $20? I didn't go any farther than that. Did it give us an option to pay for it by the year?
Not yet. I don't think that gets to the end.
Yeah, I think it's later.
Okay, so it is there.
They're just
Did you
baiting you right
did want
now
me
with
to
the
name this stuff,
$20.
or-
I don't see much difference other than the dollar amount, actually.
Yeah, it really looked about the same all the way across the
Yeah.
board, except right there, that ding
Per year,
$2
yeah.
million, per year.
So click this one.
Yeah, and then I didn't go beyond that, and I guess I probably should have. I just got to that
There you
point.
go.
So that is
Wow.
I think they've taken away
the yearly fee or the yearly.
They just took mine out last month and paid the full year.
mine's coming up by the month. So you know, we mentioned earlier, like the kind of the development. I had actually let my policy kind of lapse. It was one of those things where I was just like not wanting to re-up with an association at the time just to have the insurance, and so kind of went hemming and hawing, and I let it lapse, and I reached out to John and I said, hey, I said, what are you guys doing? Because I need to have something better here. The local wasn't an option. He pointed me over to here. I signed up in Moments, very similar to what we're just seeing here, and like it was nice, but oh wait, here it is. But
Oh, there we go.
mine's coming out.
But
Mine's still coming out. I think I'll have to figure it out. Maybe
you
maybe I
maybe,
only
but
went by
they
the month.
still getting that service fee though, ain't they? So it's
Oh yeah.
$2 a month if you do monthly. And I was like, wow, dude, they're gonna collect $24 a year just on billing you monthly. But then you get yearly and they still get that
You get the
service fee.
same fee. There's no discount at
Yeah.
all. That's funny.
And
Oh,
I gotta be
maybe
honest,
that's why I went for the monthly, because there's no difference in the price.
yeah.
Like you don't get a deal. Like at least the way this is set up, there's not a deal for buying by the buying, you know, paying for the year. It's the exact same. $20 a month ends up being $240 a year, and
Service fee's the
$1.99
same.
service fee for a year is going to be $23.88. So yeah, that's what it was. That's why
That's
I
that
didn't do the year.
that's that math teacher, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Fantabulous. So, Mikey Mike mentions that that with Next Insurance, there's an app with that, and he's able to open up the app and actually show the policy to the venue if they get there and they're like, "Hey, are you insured?"
Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, by the way, that probably happens a lot too.
It could.
Yeah, that's great. I had no idea about that. Thanks, Mikey Mike. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Might have to get that installed on the phone. I don't do that or don't have that. But then again, you know, I barely have any apps on my phone. There's this one with this blue box with a white F on it. I don't know what that is, but I don't think it's going to be anything. So I'll probably just delete that one.
Probably should.
Yeah, it's not going to be anything. It's probably just some scam or hoax or something. I don't know. I mean, if it would be like sock puppets, that would be cool.
But listen, they're gonna close your page if you don't verify that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, this is my final warning that I needed to click this link and log in. So, Cubbie talked a little bit about the why, and we showed the how, and we talked about what insurance is. Gosh, I think we've covered our bases.
It's I do know that some RV Nutrio and stuff is going to ask you for your website and verify that you're DJ. I talked to a friend, like John said earlier, down in Texas, and he's slowly moved out of the DJ industry and does strictly lighting now and a lot of projections, and so his was a little bit different. So he had to maneuver his website to look as though it was more DJ related. But he got one quote from an association that was close to same thing, same situation scenario that we just went through. It was like $240. He was a single op, sole proprietor, and the insurance he got quoted was $900 through an association. And he thought, and the guy told him, "Hey, look, don't tell anybody, but I'm giving you a really good deal." And I was like, and then he calls me, he's like, "Cubbie, what do you do for insurance?" I'm like, "Well, this is what I do. This is what I used to do, and this is what I do currently." And he went and quoted both those and took it back to the person. It was like, "Why? You told me not to tell anybody. I was getting a really good deal." He had no answer. He had no idea that his insurance was that high.
And that's the thing is there's so much variation
And
in
he's in
that.
Texas. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be just so different. I mean, you see the same thing in home insurance and automobile insurance. There can be such a huge variation.
Well, that's the thing with a lot of these groups. Like, there are some advantages to using something like Next or and something along those lines, because when you have that when you have kind of that national pull, and I think maybe that's sometimes why the local ones maybe struggle, is they don't have the ability to kind of say, well, listen, if I have to cover something, I can use a little bit from what Cubby's paying in, I can use a little bit from what John's paying in, a little bit from Dan's paying in, and put them all together and be able to pay it out. Whereas the local guy might have a little bit different scenario, and has some backing probably, but still ends up having to pull more from that money, uh that pot of money that's there, that the national has that much bigger pot to pull from. Yeah, they probably have bigger or more claims, but again, I don't know if I doubt it's proportional. So that's, I think, sometimes also why you can see these groups being able to offer those lower rates, um, along those same lines. And yes, there are, sometimes you hear the horror stories about some of the groups. Well, they didn't cover that. Well, make sure you're looking at your policy. Make sure you know what's being covered, and don't just blame it on the insurance company. Like, very clearly, we saw some things that were not covered. You go, well, my sure somebody should cover that. Well, then you need to call them and be like, what would it be to cover this? And it's probably going to be more money.
And you'll find out that it might be just better to be handing out the products. That literally the big thing through Minnesota with parades is that it used to be that you'd be up on your float and throwing candy out. And you don't do that anymore. There are many parades that will be like, nope, if you're going to do candy, you walk over and you hand it to the kids. There's no more throwing of candy. So it's all about liability and the potential risks with that. Um, just reading Michael Kennedy talking about a situation there with that Nick Spinelli had when he got his some gear stolen. I wanted to let's hit the stolen gear or the gear just a little bit, because when I was looking at the gear, one of the biggest issues that I was finding, it's so many dollars per thousand of coverage. So if you want to cover $10,000 or $20,000 worth of gear, you paying so much, $4, $5, $10, $1,000, and you basically figure out what you want. What the two different companies I had looked at for gear, basically one I had to go through and list the type of gear I had. I could go in, it could have been a Pioneer DJ controller and an estimation of what it cost to how much it was valued at. The other one, I had to go through and do Pioneer DJ controller with serial number XYZ123, that kind of thing, where everything had to have serial numbers to put that on the insurance thing. I didn't want to go crawling around and looking at the back of every speaker. Oh wait, this one doesn't have a serial number sticker on it anymore because it's been in my system for a while. So then you start asking a little questions. It's like, okay, so this is my Pioneer controller was $1,500, and it's what happens if it's we'll give you what the value is of it today. We'll give it in today's value. Well, does that mean that if I buy it today, brand new? No. We're going to give you the value of what it is today as a used piece of DJ gear. It's like, well, that's not very nice, because these things are used and abused, and it's going to be worth like 63 cents. Hello. I can make more money with my sock puppets on the streets, so I'm not going to do that. And there you see how it all comes back around.
I put mine in my homeowners just in case there was a fire. Not so much on individually, like what happened to Nick, where his whole trailer got stolen. I don't know how you claim something like that. But I've got mine into my homeowners for fire purposes. and break-ins.
And just to be fair, there is the only thing that we do have covered is computers, because our computers are listed through the homeowners also as additional computers, because we have so many computers that our insurance company is like, okay, we need to list these because there are a lot of them. I mean, I'm sitting in a room that has like 7 or 8 computers in it right now, and it's just pretty much I'm the only one who comes here. So what I like to do is I like to start putting I put Huey Lewis on this one, and then I start it like 5 seconds later on that one, and then 5 seconds later, it's like Huey Lewis in the round. Hello, how much fun is that day? I'm saying it's so exciting. I might want to go do that right now.
No, it's fun as sock puppets, that's for sure.
No, but if I had to have a Huey Lewis sock puppet thing, oh my gosh.
I would say when it comes to your gear, like I think as Cubbie said, like having it covered for where you having it stored is a great idea. And I would also say that, like, I understand some people worrying about like dropping the insurance and that kind of aspect. This type of a claim is also a bit different than a liability type of insurance claim, right?
Yeah.
Like, so kind of keep that in mind too. Like, where, if something is stolen and you've got a police report and stuff like that, that's not you did something and somebody's suing you and you had to pay out, right? So kind of keep those kind of things in mind. There's definitely a time and a place to have the insurance, and it shouldn't be one of those things where you're paying to not use it, if you know what I mean, like if it's needed. So I would definitely, for where you're storing it, even if you don't decide to carry it, for the policy of when you're playing out. I mean, just today I was watching the news and there was, 3 local places that had pretty significant fires. If that was my place, my business is gone. And the finances to cover my business is not going to take priority. But if it was covered, I could be up and running a lot faster.
Maybe. Because from past experiences with people who have had DJ insurance and gear stolen from a trailer, the questions came back were, well, was the trailer locked? Was there an alarm system on it? Where was it parked? And was it parked in a way in which it was responsibly secured so it would be tougher to access? It was like hoop after hoop after hoop after hoop, looking for any way. And this is one of the insurances that companies that covered one of the national associations at one time. It could be, if you were working, and this might be probably the biggest thing with working with a company, other that if you have an agent you can talk to, that might be the real reason to do that, is because if you're going to need to do gear, it might be better to use an agent that and you can call and you can get on the phone. Like literally, I can call my automobile agent because he lives right down the road from me. I can call him up and say, "Hey, my friend Cubbie said if you don't do things right, he's gonna come and like step on your toe," and he'd be like, "Oh, dude, I got to do it right now." That's the way it would be. So that would be the time I think I would probably really look at that, maybe kind of question. But for most of us, having liability is pretty much the most important part.
I just meant general insurance, like Kevin was talking, for the homeowners, like to cover it at his house.
Yeah.
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 And that $240 that you're paying a year is far less than what it would cost an attorney to defend you in a case if somebody slips and fell, or something happened. You're going to spend way more than that. It's just, I don't know what that quote is. I keep trying to remember it is. Insurance is like good underwear. You don't realize you need it till you lose it. I don't know, something like that. Insurance is to cover you at all times.
Covers you like a good pair of underwear.
Mhm.
I could see it. You need clean
How,
ones.
Hopefully there's no holes in the policy.
Yeah, no holes in the policy. You want to make sure it's a nice clean policy, because you never know when you're gonna
you
be.
need a hole in the
Oh
front
my
though.
goodness.
Maybe
We
a
went a
hole in the
whole
front.
other direction tonight.
Yeah, it could be something like that. Okay, so again, on DJNTV.com/next insurance, go out there, check it out, and see if it's something that you guys want to, if it's something that could help you, great. If not, just go check it out anyway, because then they'll see more love from us, and that's always a good thing. It's always a good thing to get information that you can use with your business. The parachute it's a parachute in a plane. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. That's
Oh, maybe that's what I something. Somebody's probably got it in the, and I'm not seeing the chat, but
yeah.
there's like a good reason why to have an insurance is just because you've got to protect yourself.
But I think the and as Cubbie alluded to is earlier is that more venues are wanting it. They're going to want the $2 million policy and that proof of that. And what's kind of neat about again the next and even others like that is you can go in there and log in at Friday at 5:00, print it out, and hand it to the venue Saturday morning at 10 when you arrive, and say, "Yep, there it is, gotcha." All done via the website. Covers your tushy like underwear. Yeah, and then I got to get the app too. So yeah, that is that. Excellent. So next, Brian is going to be sitting in for Howie tonight on the in the chill room there, so you can go hang out with Brian at DJNTV.com/chill. I don't know if I have a Tuesday video. I don't think I have a video for tomorrow because I've been out of town the last couple of weeks, and then life's been crazy. So this might be a light week for us for our little tips videos, and then next week I don't know. I don't even know if you had one over yet for this week, Dan. I think it was last week.
I lost track.
Yeah. So anyway,